Hey everybody, welcome back to the Highland Fox. It has been a long time since we've done a video, and we're sorry about that, but we're here for the final race, and we've got a lot to cover. So, first things first, again, we've missed a lot. Max won the championship like 22 races ago. Four races ago. I mean, basically after Leclerc won in Australia, the race, it was basically over.
Yeah,
that was,
it was a Max Verstappen season.
Yeah. Ended with 15 wins, which is the record.
Good on him.
Yeah, Andrew Newey's most successful car because Red Bull won the constructors like 22 races ago because Ferrari kept imploding and Mercedes was non-existent until the end.
Yeah. Slowly made it back.
Yeah. Sainz got his first win and Russell got his first win.
But other than that, there were only five
Leclerc,
winners.
Max, Russell, Sainz, and Perez.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
kind of if you think about it, almost a boring season if you just look at it from winners. But
Well, and Max had it sewn up with like 5 races left.
yeah, so
So,
I think compared to last season, it was kind of like, oh.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you're a Max fan, yay.
We actually are friends with a Max fan, and he said it was kind of a boring season too. Like, because you knew Max was just, I think Crofty said it today. Max's biggest rival this season was tire degradation. He said all he ever had to worry about was tire degradation. He never had to worry about another driver. So
It was. I think that though made us focus on like strategy and pit stops a lot more rather than driver or teams. I was more looking at strategies this time, which was kind of cool to dive into that whole world of F1
yeah,
because it's very detailed, obviously.
and with all the new cars, following was a lot closer. So all like the midfield battles were way more exciting than I think they had been.
Yeah, I've never really. What was it? Was it last race where I was like, "Who's gonna be 16th? Who's gonna finish?"
Yeah.
And I was, why? It's 16th, 17th. I shouldn't care, but I do.
Yeah.
So it made it a lot more exciting for the midfield, I think.
You know, other big things that we haven't touched on in a while are all the drivers. There's a whole bunch of driver changes this season, which I was surprised about. I thought most would stay pretty similar.
Yeah, I had a feeling Vettel was done this season, and Latifi, but I was not expecting Danny Rick or Mick. So
Yeah.
that was kind of a shock to me. But Seb, I was kind of expecting. So 4 drivers though that I don't know if we'll see again. I hope, but
Well, Mick is supposedly, rumor at the time of this filming of this, is supposedly rumored for Mercedes reserve spot.
And-
Because De Vries and is now with AlphaTauri, and there are other guys that Aston Martin reserve. Fernando Alonso went to Alpine, or no, Fernando went to Aston,
from Alpine.
and then Gasly went to Alpine, and then Nick De Vries took Gasly's spot.
Yeah.
Hulkenberg's back for Mick Schumacher, so you took a rookie getting better and replaced him with a 35-year-old that hasn't raced in a while with no podiums.
We'll see where
see
they're
how-
going with that.
yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Danny Rick was replaced by Oscar Piastri, which was the worst kept secret in F1. Yeah, that was interesting. He's supposedly a reserve driver for Red Bull.
Yeah. Christian Horner made it seem like he was going to their team. So
Yeah.
I don't know. And then Latifi left Williams,
Yep.
and I think it's going to be Logan Sargent.
Yep. So that's the first American driver on the grid in a long time.
So he got enough points to race in F1, so they may pick him up. So
Yeah.
we'll see that last spot who goes in. But yeah, Mick, I think, deserved a little bit better than he got. We've been very blunt about our feelings on that.
Yeah.
But I really hope we see him again because
Yeah.
I don't think he got a fair shot.
No. And even in his interview, he kind of even said, like, last season didn't count because we didn't have a car.
Yeah, and Haas even said, like, we're not even going to count this season. So
Yeah.
for them to
Count it
say
against
that and
him.
then count against him, I was like, okay, you just didn't want Mick. Like, at that point, it's like, you're just being hypocritical and you don't want this driver. So, and that, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess that's fine. Like, it is what it is. It's F1. It's cutthroat, but
I saw a funny meme that was like, sad face, and it was like mixed out of F1, and it was like giant happy face, like you no longer have to pretend to support Haas. It's like
it's sad, but yeah, like
Yeah.
I have like a huge, I don't know, like very like grudge holdy towards them right now. Is that a word? It is. Yes,
It is
I'm
now.
sure it is. But I don't know. I don't really know how that strategy is going to play out. But I mean, K-Mag is. I like
decent.
him.
Yeah, he's
I
good.
like him.
He's good.
Hulkenberg, it's an interesting choice, but
Yeah. So I think there's so many young drivers coming on the grid, but
yeah,
we'll have to see.
yeah.
All right, so we caught up on the championships, caught up on the drivers.
Abu Dhabi rundown.
So after all those follow-ups, we're finally caught up. We can finally do the race review. It was Abu Dhabi, last race of the season. Last year, the race was pretty aggressive, right? That was the controversial, not controversial last lap that I think I'm probably just put a trigger warning for people still get all upset when you talk about it. This one was not that. Again, Max had it sewn up for a while, but there were still some things to play for.
Yeah. As a whole, I thought it was a very boring race. I don't like this track. I think it's boring. I don't know why people like it. I don't know, but
I think the problem is Brazil is always such an amazing race,
and then
and then it's Abu Dhabi.
yeah, I was just like, nah.
Yeah, Brazil needs to be the last again.
Yeah. I just think there's nowhere to pass. And it's just such a boring race. And like last year, it would have been boring too if
Latifi
didn't crash. So like, because I kind of stopped watching last year's race. I was like, oh, okay, Hamilton's going to win.
He was up by 12 seconds.
Yeah, and I was like, let me go make breakfast. Like,
Yeah.
I stopped watching. And so this year, I wanted to watch because I cared about who came in second. But other than that, like, I was kind of bored. But yeah, to your point.
Yeah, so Checo and Leclerc were battling for vice champion, so second in the league, and they were tied on points. Just so kind of like Max and Lewis last year. Basically, it was pretty straightforward. Whoever finished higher got the points. If it was tied, like they both DNF'd. Leclerc got it because he had more wins. Ferrari put him on a one-stop strategy, which was a very bold move. Red Bull didn't do that. So Perez was literally taking a second. He was 18 seconds behind Leclerc with 19 laps left and took a second out every single time. And you could just watch Leclerc lose this race again.
One more lap and Checo would have passed Leclerc.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
That was exciting.
It was, because it was that like thrill of like, is Checo going to catch him? Is Leclerc going to be able to hold on? Did Ferrari do another bad strategy?
Yeah.
And Leclerc was they tried to do another bad strategy and Leclerc didn't let him do it. They tried to call him in like real late and Leclerc's like, I'll never make up the time. And they're like, well, you're going to get past in the last lap. And he was just like, no. So he just stayed out on one stop.
And yeah, it worked out. I mean, yeah, because either if he would have pit, then yeah, he probably wouldn't have made it back. But like watching this, I was like, if he passes Leclerc, then
Yeah.
But
And the Ferrari didn't have the pace. The Red Bull was so much faster.
Absolutely. I mean, look at Max. He was just gone.
He won by 9 seconds, I think.
Yeah, I mean, did they even show him except for
They showed his
crossing the
pit.
finish line?
Yeah, they showed his pit stop and they showed him cross the finish line.
So the Red Bull, their pace was amazing. So the fact that Checo didn't pass him, I was kind of actually shocked. I was like, there's no way Leclerc has this.
No. But I'm extremely happy for Leclerc. I know Checo deserves it as well. But Leclerc, I mean, it's got to be heartbreaking to be like 40 points in the lead and then just everything crumbles.
Yeah.
So at least he got second.
It's better than it has been for him. But
Yeah.
I think the first few races, we were definitely like, all right, like Max Leclerc, woohoo. And now we're like, who's going to finish in second?
Yeah.
Yay.
And even the constructors. Ferrari needed a good turnout to finish second in the constructors over Mercedes because they came out of nowhere.
Yeah. And they did. But
And they did, but Hamilton DNF'd for the first time. So Hamilton lost his streak of a pole every season and a win every season.
Yep, this is...
The W13 was not a good car for Hamilton.
So, I know. It was weird not seeing Hamilton up on
It was.
Yeah. But Russell got his first win,
Yep.
so I do think Mercedes found their streak. Of course, it's the end, but we'll see how it goes next year.
All right, so Abu Dhabi wrapped up. We got the 3-4 month break until winter testing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be sad for everyone. So we're going to take another probably long hiatus from YouTube. So rough not predictions for 2023, but how do you see 2023 going?
I think it's going to be the top 3 teams are going to be actually in it this time.
So a 3-way battle for the champion?
Yeah, I think Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari are going to be up there, taking points from each other. So I don't think Max is going to run away with it next year.
Yeah.
Don't think, but I also thought Max and Leclerc would be battling it out all year, so what do I know? I think there is going to be, I know we were just talking about this earlier, I think there's going to be a lot of hot blood between teammates next year, so we will see if teammates are taking points from each other.
I think there'll be teammate collisions.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of drama.
Yes.
Tension.
Alonso and Stroll is not a good pairing.
It's a very interesting pairing.
Yeah. Gasly and Ocon is a pretty interesting pairing.
Didn't they get in a fight once?
Yes.
Okay.
Nico and Mags have gotten in a fight before. And they're pairing. I think once Russell starts winning, he won't want to play second fiddle to Lewis, so we'll see how that works.
Understandable.
Which, yeah, makes sense. Max and Checo are a little rocky after the end of this season when Max didn't do anything to help Checo get second. So...
Yeah, and I know sometimes it's up in the air whether Leclerc and Sainz are like as buddy as they seem.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a lot of tension next year among teammates. So
yeah. So we're going to say AlphaTauri world champions because they're the only two that there's like no drama?
Alfa Romeo, Bottas and Zhao.
Oh, Bottas and Zhao
They're
get along
chill.
well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bottas
so maybe
and Zhao.
like Bottas and Zhao.
All right, so
like
Alfa
it.
Romeo before they become... Oh, that was the other big thing. Audi's have bought Alfa Romeo, so now
There's so much.
I know we really slacked. So in 2026, Audi will be a full works team taking over Alfa Romeo Sauber. So you could have Bottas and Zhao because everyone else is just crashing into each other. They just kind of like
out, so
it's like the tortoise and the hare.
Yeah. But yeah, they're chill, so they'll be cool.
Yeah, they're cool.
But yeah, I think those are some of my like just broad predictions for next year.
I think it'll be those 3 teams definitely going at it. I think it'll be a lot closer. I definitely think they'll take points off each other. Honestly, though, as of today, with 0 testing, right, it literally ended hours ago, I think it's a 6-way battle in drivers. Because every one of those drivers in those top 3 teams is capable of winning a world title.
Does McLaren come back?
They were They were weirdly like comfortable. Oh no, Alpine beat them, didn't they? Yeah, Alpine beat them for 4th.
And Lando got fastest lap of the race. What?
Yeah, that was weird.
Out of the woods.
He's also the only one. This is a fun fact. Going back to Abu Dhabi, Lando Norris is the only one out of the top 3 cars that got a podium. No other team got a podium this year. Oh. Except for Lando Norris one time. How boring of a season.
What a boring season.
Yeah,
Ugh.
you were guaranteed a Ferrari or Mercedes or a Red Bull on the podium.
What a boring time for everyone.
Yeah.
It didn't seem that way, but now when you break it down to like statistically, this is a boring... And they changed the cars so we wouldn't have this problem.
But the midfield was crazy.
Yes.
So I think Red Bull just knocked it out of the park and it just no one else did. Which always happens. Like in 2009 when Braun won, they were the only... Who's heard of Braun? Comment down below if you've heard of Braun. Right? Because they were only in one season, then Mercedes bought them. And then Schumi...
Thanks, Hamilton.
Yeah. Right? And then Michael Schumacher and Niki Lauda brought them back. But, yeah, it's just... So, all right. I think 2023 could be exciting. Hopefully more exciting than this.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to end on probably the saddest news. It's the first time I've seen you get teary-eyed in a long time watching a sporting event.
Yeah.
Sebastian Vettel is his last race today. Everyone's like, oh, he'll be back because Alonso left, came back. Schumacher left, came back. Personally, sitting here, not knowing anything about Seb, I think he's done. I think this was Seb's last race.
Yeah. I think a lot of the drivers, when they give their like retirement speech, it's like, oh, you know, I've been there, I've seen it, and all right, I've had my time, okay. But like Seb was like, I have 3 kids, I cannot keep up with this. you know. So and he has so many other projects he wants to complete. So I think he's done.
Yeah, I think he is too. It was cool. It was sad because when Alonso retired, Vettel, Alonso, and Hamilton did donuts after the last race. Well, Alonso and Hamilton DNF'd, so Seb did donuts alone. But it almost was more fitting to give Seb his. I mean, he's a
send off.
Awesome person in the F1 community. He's done awesome things outside of the community. Probably one of the most respected drivers of everybody. Like, nobody's got a beef with Seb.
Yeah. Like, you can be a Hamilton fan, you can be a Max fan, but, like, everyone likes Seb. He's just a good person.
So when Seb got into Ferrari, he said, everyone's a Ferrari fan. Even if you're not, you're a Ferrari fan. And I always loved that because it was just, you know, they're the biggest team. And then you think of Ferrari tweeted out a picture of Seb and said, everyone's a Seb fan. Even if you're not, you're a Seb fan. Just to kind of pay it back to him.
Yeah.
And Red Bull had a really good thing of him carrying his first trophy and then him walking up the stairs his last time. It's going to be weird to see him out of the paddock.
Yeah, and not ride his bicycle into a race.
Or the scooter this year.
Yeah.
That was one of our thumbnails, him riding a scooter, just giving 0 Fs. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a rare human being, and it was fun to watch him, and I love watching his interviews. He's just ridiculous and funny, and all the drivers get along with him, and it was just so refreshing.
Yeah.
He will be very, very missed. But I know he's going to do great things outside of F1, and he's important, and he wants to spread a good message, so I think
he'll be okay.
He'll be okay.
We're taking this.
We'll be okay. Yeah, I ugly cried after the race. It was tough.
It was emotional,
but it's I'm happy for him.
Yep.
And he at least got points, you know. His last race. So.
As Aston Martin tried their hardest to screw him, but he at least snuck out a point because it was Vettel doing Vettel things and just made it work.
And he won driver of the day, obviously.
Obviously, he had to.
But
I think there's no better place than close it there, right? Thank you, Seb.